My Father is glorified by this, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. It's time for First Fruits, your daily segment from First United Methodist Church of Eastland. Here is Pastor Daryl Phillips on your area giant, 97.7 KATX.
It's a great day to serve the Lord. The first chapter of Genesis says, "In the beginning God created, and He saw that it was good." Have you ever driven through the countryside and marveled at the beauty of God's creation? Have you ever sat as a thunderstorm came through and watched in awe the beauty of the lightning? There are so many ways that we can enjoy the beauty of what God has given to us in His creation. One summer I attended a retreat in the Texas Hill Country and had the opportunity to marvel at so many things. Leaving Kerrville, going west on Highway 16, the way the roads wind about through the mountains is God's way to force me to slow down and relax a bit. As I began to slow the car to be able to stay on the road, I began to see the real beauty of the hill country. Upon arriving at my destination between Utopia and Vanderpool, Texas, I had really relaxed. Then as I drove through the gate of the retreat property, I felt it. The peace of God in the midst of His beauty. During that week, I felt God's presence as I looked at the beautiful views on the retreat property. As I was reading through the material, something caught my eye. The host of the retreat center will be teaching how to do oil painting. I thought this would be a fun thing to do, so I approached David, and he said sure, he had the time. He instructed me to go and find a scene that I wanted to paint. Going outside, I watched the birds flying around and could envision a painting of a hummingbird, but realized that this would need to be a Kodak moment instead of an oil painting at this time in my painting career. I journeyed on down the banks of the Sabinal River and saw so many awesome spots that I would love to be able to paint. So I finally chose one that would be a mountain framed by two large cypress trees looking out across the river. This was the scene that I was to paint. As it turns out, David said it was a great spot and I would not have any difficulty at all. He got out the painting gear and began to show me how to set up my scene on the canvas. He said to me that the colors we see in the scene are not what an artist calls true colors. He tells me that he only uses the primary colors and mixes his own colors, and demonstrated how easy that was to do. Yeah, right. I began my painting experience by attempting to mix my paints to the right color and effects I needed. As I mixed my paints, I could begin to see that there were probably thousands of colors on the scene that I was going to paint, and that there was no way I could capture all of these. Then it hit me. God did not have to mix His paints. He had the power to speak, and it just all came into existence. Wow, what an awesome God that we serve. I could hear the scriptures that say that if we do not praise Him, even the rocks will cry out in praise to their Creator. The birds, the fish in the river, the hills on the other side, as well as the trees, land, water, everything that I was attempting to capture in my first ever oil painting were all created by God and for a purpose. That purpose may be to sit majestically and wait for a pastor to come and realize the awesomeness of God, or maybe it was to wait to see if there will be a time that they will have to cry out praises to God as we as human beings fail to do that. Whatever the case may be, on that day, taking the time to observe God's creation brought this preacher to a new understanding of the God whom we serve, a God who loves us where we are and desires to live within us. The scriptures tell us that God inhabits the lives of His people. He inhabits our praises. Can God live within you? Stop and look at the fields around us today. Praise Him for His magnificence and awesomeness. Then see what beauty He will reveal to you. Oh, that painting? It turned out okay. The log in the water looks like an alligator, and of course the colors do not match up right. But it was the best 2 to 3 hours I spent on the retreat. It was not the quality, but the love. Want to experience that love? See you at church on Sunday.
First Fruits is presented by First United Methodist Church, FUMCEastland.org. Tune in each weekday morning and afternoon to hear more uplifting words from Pastor Daryl Phillips. Come worship with us Sunday mornings at 1050, 215 South Mulberry, Eastland. I'm Dustin Tatro. This has been First Fruits. Thanks for listening.